Good morning, everybody. It's Alex, and I've been a bad boy. This is probably the last video in the hole for me right now, in terms of these car podcast things. As I've been going through, I've been trying to generate enough of these to be able to post every weekday, and I think at my current pace, my current amount of production, that is going to cease for a little bit after this video, which should be on go up on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or something. So I don't want to leave you hanging. I want to let you know what the story is, what's going on, and why I simply must recommit to the bid. So here's the deal. These podcasts from the last couple of months of doing them and thinking through, they're the most interesting. They're the most action-packed when I am spending my time really thinking hard about the one problem, which is, for our purposes, is the independent game design, trying to fit that in with our general lifestyle of entrepreneurship, of doing well at work, of software engineering, all of these sort of little related pieces. To be honest with you, and the amount of time I'm spending writing my game is just simply not enough. And so I'm not running into enough of these scenarios, these events and hurdles, to have things that are interesting to talk about for whatever the hour in the car, right? So I've been doing some thinking, and there's some things that I think need to clean up, that need to change in order to make this a valuable use of your time and of my time as well, right? So there are a couple things that I am going to be trying in the near future. One was cleaning up the production of these podcasts a little bit. I would like to continue being able to do these, to make because I think they're still the single best use of my time spent commuting, aside from if there's some kind of topic that I want to learn or catch up on. Creating, I think, is always more beneficial than just sitting there consuming, right? There's a time for both. But as someone who is, when I'm at home by myself, addicted to just having YouTube videos going on in the, on my headphones as I go about my business, this is far more interesting and useful for developing my ideas, the way I speak, and has hopefully this external benefit to you, the audience, of some sort of entertainment slash interesting insight into the world of someone who's just doing all this stuff raw and unfiltered. So there's that. The podcasts, I've done my initial bit of research outside of just uploading stuff to YouTube. I've got an RSS account now, rss.com account, and so I think we'll be trying a couple of additional platforms in the mix here, uploading to Spotify and Apple Podcast, I think, are the two main ones. And try to work out some sort of workflow for doing this production that is as painless as possible for me, to be honest, because I think with my current manual workflow, the things that I want to be doing, that I want to spend my time and energy on, are thinking of interesting things to talk about, using this time to refine my ideas, right? And I'll spend the time thinking of a cool, snappy title, as the packaging in order to do it, right? So I'm fine, doing all of that. But I'm not that hungry in the YouTube space. I'll let that out. I simply do not have the time or energy to devote to coming up with interesting thumbnails, of editing together and like rendering all these videos. I've just been doing them in iMovie thus far. And let me tell you, iMovie was not meant to bulk render and export like 10 different videos at the concurrently. It just simply is not good enough to handle that kind of workflow. I've been stopped here by a little traffic cop. What is the story? Oh, I see. And so usually I do that on Friday when I'm home and I've got a bunch of extra time not commuting. I go through my catalog of recordings and go piece together some videos and go upload them. And this is all very manual, very by hand process that I have to be involved with for a couple hours. And that doesn't sound like that much. It's like, oh, it's just like some stupid crap you're doing in the background. But unfortunately, when I'm trying to do like some deep work, when I'm trying to work on doing my game design development using my Friday time for that, or I'm spending that time on my day job work, right? Like it is really not great to be constantly having to go check like the export progress of all these different videos and then go upload, schedule them in the right order, all this stuff. It has simply become a lot more than I bargained for, and not in the right way. So, we're going to be proceeding forward with the RSS.com account as like the main way that I go get the content out. Hopefully I'll work on like some branding stuff, some more interesting things, make this all look a little bit cleaner. That those seem like pretty high value, high return on investment things to me, so we'll do that. But sorry, I'm really distracted right now because this like giant truck is like been back and forth like in front of me for the past 5 minutes. All right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Traffic Cop. And it has it made me like not really want to do it as much, which is not good because again, we want this is I think the best use of my time in the car. But when it comes to my Fridays, my upload day, it simply just isn't. It simply is just too many stupid things and that are consuming my time, and that is just like that cannot be the right way to do all that. So I think with RSS.com I'll be able to like one-click upload at least audio file to Spotify and Apple, right, which is pretty good. And supposedly they have some sort of paid for feature that like auto converts an audio file into a like a video with your branding and with like a moving waveform that you can just get onto YouTube, right? I don't really want to pay for that. That's like it's like $15 a month, and let me tell you, the numbers on this podcast are simply not good enough to justify $15 a month. Not yet, anyway, not yet. So that might be like an additional science experiment to go try to make that work, which could be interesting to go develop something on our own that takes in that audio, does that processing and all this stuff. we'll see. Like, maybe that's a good use for AI agent is go MP3 to MP4 this for me. So I have to do as little work as possible, because that's really what it's all about, is is doing as little work as possible on the things that are not beneficial to me, so that I can go keep doing the things that I really want and need to do. And that is what as my manager says, that's what it's all about, is doing the least amount of work possible so you have the most amount of time to play golf. But it's not to say that, like, these things are obviously important. The thumbnail and the actually having like something in the video content are very important to the YouTube platform, obviously, and they determine a lot of Like the algorithm pickup stuff. So it's not something to be shirked. The problem is just like having done that by hand, thumbnail generation and uploading. God knows how much time I've spent waiting for YouTube videos to upload over the years. It is just it's just not something I want to do. It's really just not something I'm interested in doing, and it's just horribly distracting from the real work. So there you go. That is kind of the hope for the content and production side of like what will change, what will be different. Hopefully, basically these things should all be like net pluses on how this show actually comes out and looks. Everything will look better, sound nicer, be more widely available, all this stuff. And I hope that that helps me. We can start to pick up some traffic here. That would be a nice problem to have. And then there's the last part of it is looking into like auto clipping and having some sort of like shorts strategy. So shorts is like, I personally I do not watch shorts, any shorts anywhere. But I know this is just like a huge part of the content creation funnel of like how you are attracting people to your content now, because it's like with shorts, you are basically able to play that YouTube algorithm game hundreds of times more, buy hundreds of times more lottery tickets than you will for trying to get picked up as creating like long form content without any sort of like name recognition, right? Sorry, I'm all sniffly right now. I'm gonna blame allergies, but it's probably my fragrance here. All right, but it is because imagine like every time if you make like a half-hour, highly edited together, really good quality content YouTube video, that has one chance of getting like picked up by the algorithm, right? It's one video, it's like one lane of exposure, and even if it's good content, sometimes it will fall through the cracks, and hopefully at some point it does get picked up, right? This is all from my very academic understanding of how YouTube works. As someone who has a video with over 130,000 or 120,000 views, let me tell you, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I've watched enough Mr. Beast explanation videos on how YouTube works, where I've kind of got like something to go off of here. But if you do shorts instead of like this long form, right? That same piece of content is now generating 30 entries into the YouTube algorithm to get picked up and go viral, right? And it's even better than that, because then it is the redirect into your main content, which I think has a higher return on it because of the increased amount of like watch watch time in the video. So that is like the idea, and obviously my content is not very clippable. Well, maybe it is. Maybe there are some good sound bites in all of this crap here that could be found, could be turned into something, right? And that could be an exposure lane, right? Or even like some of the streams. Like I know, like there was like a nice little probably clippable moment when I got the keyboard input working last week or something, right? Like stupid stuff like that. And the problem is like going through all of this stuff as someone whose full-time job is not to be doing that. That is incredibly expensive. It would basically mean that either I have to go pin and remember this stuff, like which is a lot of extra overhead, or I'm spending some good percentage of the time just re-listening to my content that I've just produced and going through and like trying to find clips out of it. Like again, this is like it's not easy work, and it's not work that can go very quickly. But like supposedly there are some like AI clipping generators out there that will go comb through your video and find stuff like this. So I mean, it's worth a shot, right? You know, what could possibly go wrong? We will, you know, it's something to like play around with and see if it like if it works for the channel, if like the clips that it produces are good enough to be posting and try to get picked up. But if it is like too much work, or you know, my theory probably is a lot of these tools like this are going to be like limiting you on cost or amount of output that you generate. You know, then it might not be so worth it. Again, because the YouTube channel here is still pre-revenue. This is all pre-revenue, so it is mostly just an educational / entertainment tool for myself as of now. But it could be so much more. That's always the dream. Okay, but that is like that's the last piece of like the production puzzle is try to figure out the clip strategy, and see if that can be something that actually starts to yeah, and here's the problem, starts to drive engagement into these videos. And it's funny because like I think the clip videos I have on my channel, the shorts are like the highest viewed videos aside from my like Reggie re-upload video. Yeah, like I just like some video of shooting up my like model rocket from college has like 500 views, which is like, oh, okay. But I am like so uncalibrated as to what the view counts are supposed to be in shorts that I have no idea. I like it, obviously it's not great, but I don't know how like not bad that is, because I've certainly uploaded many many regular YouTube videos in the past that have not gotten to 500 views. Yeah, okay, all right. So that's all production. We're done with the production talk. Okay, now we have to go back to like the original thesis here, which was recommitting to the bit, coming up with ideas, stuff that actually I can talk through, and that is interesting enough to carry on at least like 20-30 minutes of car rambling, right? And again, you know, I think that you know, from what I've seen, the best videos that I have are ones about ideas that I've been already thinking about a lot, that I do have something to say because it's something that has come up in my day-to-day life, in my little journey here as aspiring game developer, right? And it's like whenever I hit a real practical problem, or there's like something swirling around something I've done, something I've read or played. Like these are the sources of content where I can just think about it. Whereas if like I'm going in totally cold, I just have not been able to just come up with something on the fly, or it's very difficult. When I have a topic beforehand, it just kind of like comes naturally, and I will assess right about around here where I am in my drive right now, if this is a 2-episode session, or this is like a 1 longer episode session, right? And so that's a really good sign. Like if you can talk for an hour straight, about something, that is that's really good. That means like there is something there. It's not just like pure noise and nonsense. I hope, and I hope that like stuff like that means that like that content, that the actual audio is valuable, that it's worth listening to. And if not, that's okay. But it's something I'd like to learn about, and like the whole point is to refine all of this, right? To use this as an opportunity to become better at speaking in broadcast and production, right? So there's been a lot of these filler words in here today. Whenever I don't kind of have like a topic pre-planned or thought out, it becomes very difficult, and I have a lot of false starts on my episode. I'll like record for 2 minutes and be like, oh, this is unlistenable. I clearly have not thought this topic out enough, and like I throw it away, and I try a couple times and keep throwing it away until I have to jump to something else, or just like give up on the recording for that drive entirely, which is not great. And because I have not been doing as much game stuff, because I think it's just been I have not been treating it enough as a priority in terms of like my time and my scheduling. There's something still to be done there in order to give that like the best chance for success, I think. But because of that, it's like the well has been pretty dry. I've recorded only one other like audio this week, and that was like the Doom 2 review, which was a freebie because I beat Doom and I've been thinking about it for a while. So there we go. That's why my thesis: game reviews are way less difficult than general podcasting. I said it. No. But it is easier to talk about the thing if you've like just sat down and really gone through it. And this is opposed to like my best weeks where I've come up with like 6 or 7 videos in a week, and then I start to be able to build a backlog into next week. But it's been slowing down. I already had to cheat last week and treat my the stream as the Friday video, which is not quite right. I think I even ran out today. I don't think there's a video today. So we'll get something. We'll try to get something up, but it's been tough. It's been tough. And so I think in terms of content, most podcasts or channels, I feel like they have like one of two sort of like main formats, right? They are either sort of like topic based, it's like comics by Perch, right? We're talking about comic books or something. Everything is related to comics, or like vaguely related to the business of comic books, right? Or they're personality based, and personality, you have to have a personality. But like the Joe Rogan Experience is about talking to guests through the lens of Joe Rogan, right? Of like getting his kind of like opinion and lens through all this stuff, and he has all these ideas and things. And I think the best podcasts, are like the combination of the two, where it's the personality but then it's also like a topic that's easily identifiable, and that you like play within that space. Like Andrew Huberman, he's like, I think, the number one wellness health podcast, right? And he has some sort of like identifiable personality and brand along with it, and the content is all on brand, right? It's all very consistent. Like, you know that like when you're watching a Huberman video, it's all going to be about that. And you know, like, I have not been totally 100% consistent to like a brand or an idea for what this show actually should be talking about, because it is mostly just like car rambling on whatever I found interesting that week, and I think that definitely that probably hurts it. You know, again, like it cannot be like, if you like look at it, it's like there are some videos on like superheroes. There's some stuff like on D&D, but most of it's video games, and then there's like some general stuff, right? And that was all in the intro today. That was all in like whatever I was talking about. It's like all of these different things, but in order for it to be one thing, and the one thing probably should be game dev, you know, solo game dev, and that, you know, the realities of doing that, fitting that in with your day job, all these things, that you know, like, again, I simply just don't have enough to talk about with it like every single day, because I'm not doing it every single day, and that's the problem. I think that should be the commitment, right? And the like the thing is, like, you know, I'm like, you know, at this point in my life, I'm trying to sculpt it so that is like what I spend my free time doing. Any free time that I have that's not work, that is not like, you know, being with my fiance, and, you know, doing stuff with her. I think it needs to be some sort of like game dev related task, and I've been able to I think, oh, that guy almost got creamed there. I think I've been able to do that, you know, try to approach it by elimination, mostly of like, here are things that I will not do anymore, you know, like I will not go and like read comics anymore, basically, aside from, you know, I'm like unwilling to break my current Superman and Spider-Man runs, but that, you know, that it consumes like maybe an hour every three weeks, so I'm not too concerned about that. You know, I've eliminated a lot of like the other, you know, the time I would just spend like reading other stuff. I've replaced that with all of the books that I have on hand are technical things of like skills and fields that are related to the games I want to work on to understand deeply. You know, like I'm reading like some linear algebra book right now to go brush up on that, because oh my God, have I needed to brush up on that for like the past 3 years, and so that's where we are, right? The things that I still am doing and like devoting my brain processes to are like, you know, just like general social stuff, like maintaining connections with friends and family, and cooking, health stuff, like all of like the random life maintenance tasks of like money management and you know, getting an apartment, doing all this baloney, right? And like so it's like, you know, like even like eliminating all these extraneous hobbies, it's still not quite enough. And the tension is that, like, because it's priority 3, as I've said, after work, maybe in priority 4. It's like number 1 is myself, like my self wellness of my health and fitness is like must be number 1. Number 2 is like my fiance, of like making sure she's happy and that our life together is good. We're spending all the time we can together and all this stuff. Number 3 is like my day job, my work of trying to excel there and use that to keep my career moving forward. And then number 4 is games. And if it's number 4, that's a problem. Because like as soon as something else important happens in one of these like upper 3 things, the game thing just goes the way of the dodo, right? And in the game development going the way of the dodo is a problem, and that's like why I think most people never finish like projects like that. Like even people with like entrepreneurial bends, they have their priorities, their vision gets lost in like the sea of other priorities, right? And that's why like you see all of the most highly successful people in that space who are like self-starters and working all this stuff, they were able to do that by like total devotion to their business and to the idea, and that lets them do things that go further than anyone else and do more than anyone else could, and so they win in a competitive space, right? I think we're all on page with that. And I guess like the conflict is, of things that I want to spend my extra time on, of things that I want to, the game development, the independent game development and design, like it's more hidden as to what the like outsized payout would be of like going in and doing that, than like just continuing to focus all in on like the day job, or on, excuse me, matcha burps, or on family and health and all this stuff. Excuse me, because I'll tell you, like, if you go all in at your day job at work, if you become the hero of the office, excuse me, if you spend all your time learning all like the best way to do your job, if you spend extra, all these extra hours in the office working more, doing more stuff, like that is not just the fast track to success. That is the elevator, the golden elevator straight to the top of the mountain. Because again, 90% of the people are not doing that, and so you are de facto the most devoted person to the job there, right? And so you will you'll level up and learn harder things, do more things, and become more valuable to the business, and then just in general as yourself, right? That it's just like such a cheat code, such an easy way to go and do things, right? And be successful in life. It is just like trying harder. It's as simple as that. But like the thing is, like, the downsides to this are like, in order to become like the most valuable at your work, to someplace else, you're putting all your eggs in one basket of your company, right? And your company is not fully aligned with what your interests are, with what your goals are, right? Your goal is to get paid the most amount of money, to be able to have like the most marketable skills, to be like transferable, do all this stuff, to be happy, be able to go home at the end of the day, whatever it is. You have goals, but the company goals are for the company to be making money, and not be spending as much, right? So you will get paid like what they think they can get away with paying you, without you being a risk of jumping ship. That's the idea. Like if you're like on some sort of like marginal or like some sort of like value add there, right? And the skills, the projects, the tasks you work on are always, they belong to someone else, right? You can devote all of your energy, all of your time and life and soul into projects at work, into doing this stuff and making it the best it can be. But ultimately, it's for someone else. It's you don't own it. The company owns it, or the company owner owns it, right? And the dream that you're working so hard to achieve is someone else's. And obviously the big downside of that is, like, if you ever are fired from the company, which could happen anytime, you walk away, all of that work you do is effectively to you, it's gone, right? You don't get to keep that, you don't get to own it, and take it with you. And in fact, like, there are all these like legal, societal penalties for trying to continue on where you left off, of trying to rebuild it, of like let's say you built like some sort of like awesome VS Code fork at your big company job, right? And you're like, okay, and you get laid off. You're like, all right, I know how to build VS Code forks. I'm gonna make a competing product from scratch, not have to worry about any of the big company baloney. But like, that is you release that on the market and find that you've landed in the fastest track possible to getting your pantsuit off. Because oh no, you have breached the non-compete clause you signed 6 years ago. You have like accidentally retyped in the same algorithm for whatever, like the grep, the using grep on there, and like the company lawyers are using it as grounds to claim ownership over your thing, and it's just like this like whole freaking disaster area, and like that. So that is the risk of doing that, but the risk of not doing that is a lot of like not working at a company for someone else, of trying to make it on your own, is just a lot more apparent, and it happens a lot sooner, right? It's you have no income, you have no cash to go feed yourself, to be able to go pay the rent, to pay for your kids or whatever it is, and you are you're constantly in danger of like just getting squished, and like that is that's a pretty hard sell, right? But like that's like the lifestyle that you live doing that work, and it's hard, and for me it's like it's hard, not just because like it's hard for me individually to like go into that, and like especially before I have like really things like built out that we think are like viable plans, right? Where we could say like lock down a burn rate and say, okay, it's going to take we've got 18 months of cash saved up. It's going to take 16 months to go like release this product from like the working prototype, and like that's what we so that's the plan. And then if that doesn't work, we will have to pivot after. It's very hard to pitch that to yourself, let alone your like family, a bit of like, oh yeah, I'm going to cut our household income in half, nay worse, because I'm still spending money at some kind of rate, right? So that's the problem, and so like the way out of that becomes like this theory, this balance of like, of okay, then all of your free time has to be devoted to working that prototype, to working that minimum, not even viable product, but minimum viable implementation of the idea to prove that it is, that the idea is worthwhile and it is worth spending that time and money to turn it into something real, right? And then from there, then you can have the talk about your day job, right, and all that stuff. But it just makes it so much harder to get in, because I look at my 3 days that I spent unemployed between jobs, and how much work I got done then versus how much work I've got done on the game in the last 2 months, in the 2 months since I started my new job, and it's like barely a fraction of the amount of of stuff in there, which is really sad. So there's something to be said, and there's something to be said too about if it's all found time too. If there's no consistency to what you're working on, you're constantly also having to pay the switching cost of getting back in and figuring out what the hell you were doing last time you were looking at this code base, which is I'm eating up of my Friday stream hour. At least 10 minutes of that is just fucking around, rereading my to-do list, and trying to figure out what the hell it actually is I was working on. So these are all problems. These are all major problems, and the way to solve them is it just has to be ass in chair. It's ass in chair and spending the time, dedicating the time doing that, making it something real, something unbreakable, and not letting anything else take that time over. And I simply just have not been doing that, because it's been so easy to get invested in my day job at work, of being the hero there, learning all the great stuff I have to do there because I have to show up anyway, and a lot of days it's hard because I walk out the door of the office, and I want to be the hero. I want to devote my time and energy to thinking about this stuff because I'm the problems I'm solving right now are interesting to me, and they're valuable to the people around me on a day-to-day basis, and I try to turn it off and cut it off at the door, and it's tough sometimes. I'll walk away. I'm still thinking about CMake imports or something. I'm I gotta stop thinking about that. I gotta switch my brain over to game mode and home mode, and it's just sometimes it just doesn't happen. And then I'm tempted. I'm so tempted, and I'm just thinking. I've thought of this awesome thing I can do for the tooling to go fix this problem I've been grappling with at work all week. I'm gonna go pop open my work laptop right now and just go do that. Go type that code in, and there you go. But every time that I do that, it advances me there, but it does not advance me in this direction that that is my dream. That is the thing that I kind of want to do on my own. And at some point, also you have to consider does the dream still make sense? Is the dream still worth pursuing, or is that even something that you want, that you'd like? And my God, I hope it is. I really, because it is I think by far the most fun that I ever have, and the most connected to something deep and mysterious and beautiful, was when I was working on escape velocity for the first time, and implementing like all this physics and gravity, the rules of the universe, and just seeing that all come together. Like I'm not a religious guy. I love studying religion. I love studying mythology and stories. All of this like spirituality. I think it's incredibly interesting and vital and important. But myself, like I just was not raised with that bend in my mind, and it's probably a hole that I've been trying to fill. But like going through that and like seeing, creating this like little micro like cosmos for myself, and like seeing it just work in this beautiful, precise way after tuning it, and hammering away on it and like trying to get it to work just right. Like that was the thing that made me feel the most connected with something like greater, something like higher up, than I ever have in like my whole life. Like that is, aside from my relationship with my fiance, like I have felt like being part of something greater there all the time, and that is a fantastic feeling. But like with your work, with creating something, it's different, and that is this also very beautiful thing. And I think I've just been like chasing that high. I've really been chasing that high for the longest time, and I don't want to lose that. And I think, like, my God, like I think I could like really succeed there. And that is what keeps me going. That is what keeps me doing this doing this show, trying to keep it at the top of my mind, trying to like at least make all of my useless YouTube watching time, YouTube podcast listening time into things related to game design or programming, so it's like it stays percolating, right? Trying to like restrict all my free time to at least if I'm doing something, I'm playing a video game that's going to teach me something about like what are good and bad design decisions. Look for the Diablo 2 review coming up in a month or whatever. But like ultimately, like it just has to be ass and chair, and it has to be treated as more of a priority. And that means eliminating the distractions, but it means capping the things that are not distractions, that are important to my life too, and saying I simply cannot go all in on this, because if I do, then there's not enough of me left to be able to do the thing that I love and find the most fulfilling and beautiful. And so that there it is. That is I think that was kind of like a hopefully a look deep into the soul, the mind of Alex, of what's going on in my brain here, and I hope that you found that interesting. Of like that is that's the struggle, and I bet it resonates with a lot of you out there too. I know there are so many people that have this like mind, or this desire to do these things, but it's just hard. It's hard to do that, and because like you know to like go all in, to give the thing the time and energy it would need to really succeed. Your life has to kind of radically change, your life and lifestyle, because you most likely are not built. You've built your life to serve a different purpose, to be with some sort of different end goal in mind, right? And it's it just is lifestyle in conflict there, right? Lifestyle in conflict. So I think that's pretty much it for today. I've I've managed to once again time that perfectly. Of I'm just getting off of the highway, pulling up to the office right now. So awesome stuff. But if you in your life, if you've ever had a bone like this in your body, where you have felt this like deep pull towards something that you want to devote your life to like go all in and do this thing, but you see and you've experienced like just the power, the reward of doing it for someone else, of doing this thing and like getting paid off, and like does it sound like selling out? Yes, because kind of it is selling out, but not in like the immature like lame way. Like I like it's something, because like I'm selling my time to the company and doing this thing because, and like I'm happy to do it, and I'm incentivized to do it because like it's a job that I enjoy, and there's problems that I think are interesting and like solving, and there are things that I learn that are fascinating and cool, and I think have this application to help me down the road. But it just simply is it simply just like it is like in the way, is in the way of this other thing, and I just don't know what to do about that. If it's something that you've ever felt too in your life, this pull, this conflict between your work, your life, your family, and your dreams, leave that in the comments below. I hope ultimately, I guess like the original hook for this episode was we're rededicating to the podcast, and what that really means is rededicating ourselves to the dream, of continuing to live out that dream, and with the side effect of we get to generate more of these fun little audio clips, so that there's something entertaining for me to do on my commutes. But that is all secondary to the more important things in life. So thank you all for listening, for watching. Look out for all those like random things I said about like production getting better. I don't know how fast they'll come, because again, like, not the priority. So, but like there are things that I want to do because I think they will make my life doing this easier, and hopefully the awesome thing would be if this actually is able to support some sort of secondary income. That would be like awesome thing. And like that hopefully helps to fund the dream, right? But yeah, we'll have to see. So until next time, unfortunately, there may be a gap in between the next couple of uploads, but we will return. Alex will return sometime soon. We're not giving up yet. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.